You are 19 years old and you are about to eat something that might kill you. The dish in front of you is roast peacock in a sauce of honey and fermented fish. It smells incredible. Everyone in this room is watching your mouth. The emperor, his guards, his wife. 40 guests who have not touched their plates. They are not waiting for you to enjoy it. They are waiting to see if you die. Because that is your job. You are the emperor's food taster. Every meal he eats, you eat first. And in the palace of Rome, someone is almost always trying to poison him. This is the story of the most dangerous job in the ancient world, and it is about to get much worse than one bad dish. Let me take you back to how you got here. 6 months ago, you were nobody. You sold bread in a market on the poor side of the city. You knew which baker turned his back first. You knew which alley to cut down when someone shouted after you. You slept on a mat that was not yours, in a room you shared with 4 other people, and you were happy in a way you did not know was happiness until it was gone. You were fast, you were hungry, and you were free. Then a palace official walked past your stall, stopped, and looked at your face for a long time. He was not looking at you the way a customer looks at bread. He was measuring something. You did not know what. You smiled at him the way you smiled at everyone, hoping to sell a loaf. He did not smile back. He wrote something on a small wax tablet and he walked away. 2 days later, guards came. They did not arrest you. That would have been simpler. They told you that you had been chosen for imperial service, and that refusing imperial service was not something people did twice. You asked what the work was. They did not answer. In your experience, when powerful men will not tell you what a job is, it is because knowing would make you run. You did not understand what the job was until you were standing in a marble hallway being handed a silver spoon. The man training you was old, older than anyone you knew from the market, which told you something immediately. Most people in this job did not get old. He explained it plainly. When a dish is brought to the emperor, it comes to you first. You take a bite, you wait. If nothing happens, the emperor eats. If something happens to you, the emperor does not. You asked him how long you wait. He said, "For the fast poisons, you will know before you finish chewing. For the slow ones, you will find out over the next 3 days, along with everyone who is betting on whether you make it." Then he said, "The thing you have never forgotten." He said the poison is the easy part. The hard part is that you are now standing between the most powerful man alive and everyone who wants him dead. And there are a great many people who want him dead. You wanted to ask how many tasters had stood in this hallway before you. You looked down at the spoon in your hand, still warm from someone else's grip, and you decided you did not want to know. To understand how much danger you are in, you have to understand the man you are protecting. The emperor is not a kind man. Kind men do not survive long enough to wear the purple. He has watched his own family members die at convenient moments. He has signed execution orders over breakfast and forgotten them by lunch. He treats the people around him the way you used to treat loaves of bread, useful until they are not. And he is afraid. All the time. That is the part the histories get wrong. Powerful men in Rome do not feel safe. They feel hunted, because they are. His own mother was rumored to have used poison to clear his path to the throne. There was a taster in that story too. A man who tested the emperor's food faithfully for years until the day the poisoners simply poisoned the taster's own medicine instead. The thing he took when he felt unwell, so that the food was clean and the shield was gone. The emperor died the next morning. Your emperor knows this story by heart. It is why he watches you almost as closely as you watch his food. So he built a wall between himself and every meal. And the wall is you. Here is what your day actually looks like. You wake before the emperor, before the sun. You go to the kitchens and you watch. You watch the food being prepared because poison does not only arrive at the table, it arrives at the pot, at the cutting board, in a spice jar that looks exactly like every other spice jar. You have learned to notice when a cook will not meet your eyes. You have learned that the most dangerous person in any kitchen is the one being too careful, the one whose hands are steady in a way that hands are not steady by accident. When the food is ready, you walk it to the dining hall yourself. You do not let it out of your sight because the 10 steps between the kitchen and the table are 10 opportunities. A brush of a sleeve over a bowl. a servant who bumps you in the corridor and apologizes a little too warmly. You have learned that an accident in a palace is very rarely an accident. Then you eat, in front of everyone. A bite of each dish, and you wait. The waiting is the thing no one tells you about. The bite takes a second. The waiting takes the rest of your life, over and over, several times a day. You have learned to read your own body like a foreign language. Is that warmth in your stomach the food, or is it the beginning of the end? Is your heart faster because you are afraid, or because something in the sauce is speeding it towards stopping? You never fully know. You just swallow and you count, and you watch the emperor watch you. Some poisons the Romans used were fast, a plant that stopped the heart within minutes. You would taste a strange bitterness at the back of the tongue, and then you would have just enough time to understand what was happening, and to see the guests lean back so your dying would not splash them. Others were slow and patient, a metal, tasteless, that built up in the body over weeks. Your hands would tremble first, then your gums would darken. By the time you understood, it was already too late, and so was the emperor if you had missed it. You learned the difference the hard way. There was another taster before you. You never met him. You inherited his spoon, and you inherited his room. And for the first month, you slept badly in a bed that had belonged to a man who did this job until the job finished him. Now, here is where your life becomes something stranger than danger. Because you do not die. Month after month, the food is clean. You take your bite, you count, nothing comes. And slowly, without meaning to, you become useful in a way you never expected. The emperor starts to trust you, not as a person, as an instrument. A man who is afraid of every meal begins to relax when you are in the room, and a Roman emperor who relaxes around you is a Roman emperor who keeps you close. You start eating not just his food, but at his table. You hear things. You hear which senator laughed at the wrong moment. You hear which general has been slow to send men. You are a boy from a bread market, and you are standing inside the private fears of the most powerful person in the world, close enough to smell the wine on his breath when he leans over to tell you who he is going to destroy next. This should feel like a promotion. It is actually a death sentence with a delay, because the closer you are to power, the more you are worth to the people trying to destroy it. Think about it from their side. If you want to kill the emperor and you cannot get to the food, you get to the taster. You pay him. And if he will not be paid, you make sure he is found dead one morning, so that the emperor sits down to breakfast with no one to eat first. You have stopped being the shield. You have become a door that other people are trying to open, and you cannot leave. There is no version of this job with a retirement. You know too much. You have eaten at the table. You have heard the emperor name his enemies. A food taster who walks away is a food taster who might talk, and men who might talk do not walk anywhere in Rome. The old man who trained you did not retire. One day he simply was not in the hallway anymore, and no one said his name again, and you understood that this was the only way the job ever ended. So you stay. You taste. You wait. You learn to sleep lightly, you learn to eat slowly so that if the bitterness comes, you have not yet swallowed enough to finish you. You learn every trick a dying profession has passed down, and you are good at it. And being good at it only means you last long enough to see it happen. Then the poison finally comes. It is an ordinary evening, nothing special. There is no warning because there is never a warning. That is the entire point. A stew, mushrooms among them, which should have been your first warning, because mushrooms are where Roman poisoners did their best work. There is a mushroom that looks almost exactly like the ones you eat every day. The cap is the same color. The smell is the same. The difference is that one of them shuts down the body slowly, painfully, over 2 days, and there is no cure. None. The Romans knew this. There is a story that an entire emperor was killed this way, by his own wife, with a single dish of mushrooms, and that his taster was in on it. You know that story too. Everyone in this palace knows that story. And still, the stew is placed in front of you. You take your bite. It tastes like a stew. Warm, a little rich, the mushrooms soft, and that is the terror of the slow poison. You do not know. There is no bitterness. There is no warning bell in your body. You finish the bite. You wait the polite pause, the count you have done 10,000 times. Nothing happens. So you nod, and the emperor eats. You find out 4 hours later. The cramping starts low and builds. You know this feeling, not from your own body, but because you have watched it before in someone else, and your memory is now telling you exactly what comes next, hour by hour. Because there is nothing anyone can do, and part of the cruelty is that you have plenty of time to understand it. But here is the part that decides everything. You are not the only one who ate the stew. The emperor ate it too. You did your job perfectly. You tasted first. You counted. You followed every rule the old man gave you. But the slow poison does not care about order. It does not care that you went first. It only cares about the dose, and you both took it. And now the delay you were built to provide has run out for both of you at the same time. Now the palace is a different kind of chaos. Because a poisoned taster is a tragedy that no one important will remember. A poisoned emperor is the end of the world. Physicians run. Guards seal the doors. People who were bowing yesterday are already deciding which way to run. And somewhere in the building, the person who did this is calmly going to bed because they have already won. And the winning was quiet, and no one will ever be sure it was them. And you, on a stone floor in the dark, finally understand the whole shape of your life. You were never meant to survive this job. Not the good months, not the trust, not the seat at the table. All of it was the delay. You were the seconds between the emperor and the poison. That was the entire purpose of you. And the seconds have run out. You think about the market, the dust, the burn in your lungs when you ran, the baker who turned his back. You were free then, and you did not know it, and no one ever offers you the choice to go back. The histories of Rome are full of emperors. Their names are carved in stone. Their statues still stand in the ruins, faces worn smooth by 2,000 years of reign, and people travel across the world to look at them. There is no statue for the food taster. There is no name written down. There is no record that you ran through a market once, laughing, with stolen bread under your arm. There is only the job, passed from one nameless boy to the next. Each one handed the same silver spoon. Each one told the same thing on his first day. The poison is the easy part. So here's the question worth arguing about. Was the most dangerous job in Rome the soldier who could die in battle with his name maybe remembered? Or the boy who died at dinner, one bite at a time, so that someone more important did not have to? Tell me which one you would rather be. And if you want to know what it was like to live in the worst place in history rather than work the worst job, that video is on the screen right now.